Thank you for that amazing introduction. I'm very excited to be here and have the opportunity to share some of my story. When I graduated in 2020, the graduation was held virtually, and I can definitely say I do not envy the speakers who had to deliver their speeches through Zoom. But I promise, I know you guys are very excited to be awarded for this amazing achievement, so I won't go on too many tangents, but I hope that some of you can find inspiration or guidance in my story. So in high school, I was a relatively average student. I went to school, often tardy, and left right at the final bell. I really wasn't involved in any clubs. I kind of did the bare minimum. And like some of you, I went straight into college after high school at the University of Central Oklahoma. I was partying on Monday and Tuesday nights. I was getting off at 2 or 3 a.m. from my serving job and then trying to go to my 9 a.m. math class the next day. And as you probably can realize from that, it's not the recipes for success. On top of that, I realized that I was going to run out of financial aid by my first year for sure. So I decided to walk away and drop out. During that time in my life, I felt like a failure. I started working the 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. shift at Walmart. And early in the mornings when I was the only one on the road, I would just wish that I wasn't going somewhere where they didn't value me as an employee or even as a person. I had to work extremely hard for every dollar that I made, and I knew that I couldn't do that for the rest of my life, and I knew that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I knew that education was one of the only ways that I could craft a career for myself, and I couldn't afford the big universities, and so I knew that community college was one of my only options. But I did hear those voices of the high school students in my head saying that community college was for poor people, and I didn't want to be characterized that way. But I also remembered my mother, when she was attending here for nursing school, trailing behind her from class to class into the library when she would study. And I remembered how beautiful I thought the campus was at that time. And so I decided to give it a try. 2 weeks before the fall semester, I interviewed at the library to be a circulation tech. I thought that maybe this time that would help college stick, being immersed in campus life. And I don't know if you've ever been to the OCCC library, but there is a lot of downtime. And so during slow afternoons, Monica, the head of circulation, and I would chat, and she would urge me to apply for scholarships and different opportunities that were available. But I would always kind of shrug her off because I thought that my mediocre transfer grades from UCO and my lack of involvement in class and my lack of involvement in clubs would never have anybody see my application. And I thought that having my application outside of the ring to not even be considered was better than being rejected. But eventually I did apply, and I was awarded the Kayla Fessler Endowed Scholarship. When I was awarded this, I was shocked, and I was very, very honored because it was created to respect the impact of a professor, and that really meant a lot to me. This one event was the catalyst to a lot of amazing things in my life. I really started to become more confident. I started to speak up more in class. And shortly after, I received an email asking if I would like to do an interview to discuss the impact of scholarships on my life. And I was, again, very nervous. I didn't know if I had anything interesting to say. I didn't know if anybody would be willing to hear me out or even know who I was when they saw the video. But still, I went to meet Mr. Von Allen in the foundation office, and together we went into the auditorium. I met Mr. Randy Thurman, and I was able to tell a little bit about my story. And now that video has been used to garner thousands and thousands of dollars of scholarship money for other students. This one event was the catalyst to so many amazing things in my life. I was able to purchase my first set of textbooks, and as Tara Westover once said, I began to experience the most powerful advantage of money: the ability to think about things other than money. After this, Monica did not let up. She wanted me to keep applying for things, and one day she mentioned President's Leadership class. I'd never heard of it, so that night I went home, researched the class, and secretly started to want to be a part of it. I asked Ann Rea, the director of the library, if she would be willing to write my recommendation letter, and she agreed. And so I spent the following weeks writing and rewriting my entry essays until finally it was time to submit it, where I then transitioned to checking my email religiously every 5 minutes until finally I got an email from Dr. Largent congratulating me for being a part of the 2019 President's Leadership class. I was so excited because I would have the opportunity to meet the then president, Jerry Stewart, and I would also have the opportunity to take a leadership class. I'd never taken a leadership class before, and this was way out of my element. So of course, imposter syndrome creeped in. I didn't know if the students would be able to pick me out as the odd one out. I thought they may be more experienced. I thought they may just overall be more rounded than me. But I decided to do it. I put myself out of my comfort zone. And for one of our first assignments, we had to meet President Stewart for a 15-minute interview. And as we were talking, it quickly turned into 30. And towards the end, he asked if I'd heard of Students Connecting with Mentors for Success, SCMS. I hadn't. So he offered to walk me down to the office and introduce me to everyone. And as I was walking, I could hear the roar of students typing on computers, talking to one another, studying on the tables. And soon a very well-dressed man named Brian Dickens and his two coordinators, Tracy and Jermaine, approached me and introduced themselves. And you never know really what impact someone is going to have on your life, but those three individuals are like family to me and some of my closest friends. And through SCMS and President's leadership and the activities that they afforded me, I started to really find a love for service and a very dedicated passion to providing an example of success for other people who look like me. Every opportunity I have stems from OCCC, and it taught me everything that I know. It taught me how to navigate a room where no one looks like you. It taught me how to dress professionally. OCCC taught me how to eat with etiquette. It taught me the difference between a salad fork and an entree fork. There's a difference. Through this love for service, I decided to join every club that I could. As you heard from my introduction, I joined TRIO. I was in Phi Theta Kappa, Kappa Beta Delta, still an active member of SCMS, and I really started to find a love for volunteering. I started regularly volunteering at Positive Tomorrows, and it just slowly snowballed and more opportunities presented themselves. I was all of a sudden in a better position to receive scholarships, and it was really a pivotal point in my life that all stemmed from one time putting myself out there. So if I can leave you with only one thing from this speech, please let it be that you need to get involved. You need to put yourself out there. And it is scary to put yourself out there. It's scary to be the youngest. It's scary to be the oldest. It's scary to be the least experienced. But it is truly the only way to grow. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank my amazing girlfriend, Etta, who has been there for everything and has often taken a back seat so that I could achieve my dreams. And to the donor that originally granted me that scholarship, it made a tremendous impact on my life. And I'm sure the donors for scholarships are a huge part of the reason why these amazing graduates are sitting in front of me. So whether you go into the workforce or you go into another university, put yourself out there. It doesn't matter what kind of grades you make. It doesn't matter how you dress. It doesn't matter your income level. You can have integrity at any point. It's half hard work, but it's half the connections that you make. So please put yourself out there, work hard. And I know you all will do tremendous, amazing things. I'm so very excited for you. I'm so very proud of you. And thank you.